Great. I hope everyone can hear me and see my screen, correct? Okay, great. So before we start, are there any questions, concerns, comments? Okay. So what we'll do today is, of course, uh, look, look learn more about the CrossTrack tool, how it looks like, what are the other tabs and the links, what it does, and a few other things. But before that, let me revise what we covered yesterday so that everyone is on the same page, okay? So yesterday we did discuss around, I mean, I know we took a lot of time in understanding the process of CrossStrike, the creating the policy and how we can create groups and then add agents to the group and then assign the group to the policy. So is it this kind of loop? So for better understanding what I did, I created a workflow, basically the process of CrowdStrike, and that might help you to better understand how it works. So as already mentioned yesterday, this is the only part, this is the most important part that you would do, most important and the only part that you will do, create policy, create groups, and then assign the groups to policy. Once you do it, the rest of the things are just, you just sit and monitor and utilize all the information that is out there provided by CrowdStrike. You don't need to do a lot of things like Qualys. So yeah, so once you have a better understanding around policy and assignments, you should be good. Okay. So to start with, I remember with the Qualys thing, we did start with the process. So I realized I would do the same with CrowdStrike. Okay. The very first step of the process for CrowdStrike. Okay. First, I will explain the process, and then we will match up the process with the tool. Pretty much the same thing we did with the Qualys. Okay. Uh, Pretty much with the what we did with the Qualys. Okay. Now, let's first see the process. In order to have CrowdStrike, what you will do, okay? You will first install the sensor, the CrowdStrike file, obviously, right? Then once you install it, and you know how you install it, you have to work with the team. So when you go to the company, right? When you join a company, and you will get in touch with the folks, the deployment guys who's responsible to install packages on all the systems. You'll work with them, provide the Falcon sensor. I mean, agent, you call it agent or file or Falcon sensor. There are many names of CrowdStrike file. Okay, it depends on what you want to use. So what you will do, you will give the package, installation package file to the respective team. Okay, and once you give it, they will install the package on the laptops. The way you would download the package is you will log into CrowdStrike. Okay, go to the last icon, go under tool downloads, then click under sensor download. That's what they term the package as sensor, Falcon sensor. Then eventually you will download the respective version of that Windows. Along with that, you will give the customer ID. Okay, that's the unique license ID for your company. Okay, and this license usually ties up with how many sensors you would how many sensors you have bought from CrowdStrike. For example, you sign up for 10,000 or 20,000. Okay, so that's the installation piece you will give to the team who's deploying it. If they ask for documentation, for any installation documentation, again, this is the help support icon. You can click on it and go to docs. Same thing. The last icon is all the help documents and stuff. There are a lot of documents on CrowdStrike. On the left side, it's called installation guides, where if you are a Windows shop, if your company has a lot of pretty much Windows machine, you would go to Windows deployment guide, and if you scroll down, there will be standard installation, how you can do it. So you can give this information to the respective team who's actually deploying it. Recently, actually, I created this document because one of the team wanted to see that. Okay, let me find installation guide Windows Linux. So the way you would make a document, installation document, is just open a WordPad Okay, so I'm really showing you basics from document to starting from where you can get the agent, how you can create a document, and then how you can provide the document to the respective team with along with the file, installation file. Okay, simple. What I did, I created a WordPad named Windows and give a and just copy pasted standard installation what I just found on CrossTrack portal. Look, in most of the cases, simple. Just copy that to here, output, and you should be good. That's the only part. And then they would do it. And I did the same thing for Mac and then for Linux. Yep. This is basically the type of document, installation type of document that you can create for any tool, okay? Real quick. So you would give all the documents to the respective team and then they will do it. As soon as they install agent on laptops, okay? Just validate that they appear on CrossTrack portal. So the way you would validate is the second step will be so the team will come back to you and say, okay, we have installed the agents on all the laptops. Please check. Okay. Now the second step, what you have to do is validated machines in CS portal, CrowdStrike. CS is a short form I'm just using. So it's CrowdStrike portal. Okay. But the way you would validate is go to the third icon. That's like a laptop. That's like a screen, a laptop icon, and go under host management. Okay. This is the tab. This is the area where you will see all the machines that has CrowdStrike installed. Okay, those machines will automatically pop up. Similarly, like Qualys agents. Okay, simple. I told you, right? Almost all the companies are now moving with the agent thing because it's really easy to install and you get a lot of information using that agent. So just look at these and validate. If you want to double check randomly, just type in the username and you can do the search. So there are filters where you would use. If you just click it, these are all the filters that you can use. If you want to search by local IP address, you can also do that. You should know what IP address you want to search. So let me take this example. Okay, local IP address, paste it, enter. Okay, so look, here we go. If you want, so oh wait, okay. So there are a lot of columns, okay, and you might get confused. So what you can do from the table columns, you can actually check what you want to see and what you don't want to see. So depending on the filter, it will shorten the columns. Look, okay. So that's the second step that you would do once the team will come back to you and say, okay, we are done with the installation. So you will validate and say, okay, great, sure. Now you might have a question where, okay, how do I know for how many machines they have installed? You can always ask, excuse me, you can always ask inventory list, inventory of all the laptops, if there is any, because many of the companies don't have inventory of all the systems or the laptops or servers. So in that case, just just check for entries, the random entries, and that should be good. You don't have to literally check one by one. It's okay. Whenever the situations comes, you can just double check at that time. For example, if forensics team comes to you and I say, hey, can you double check if there are any detections, or can you check if the system has CrowdStrike? Simple, you just go, all you need is host name, the computer name, and you should be good. Basically, computer name, the way you can find computer name is go into command prompt and type in host name. So this is my computer name. I mean, I know this is, my name is Azam Muhammad, but you want the actual computer technical name, okay? You cannot search by the username. So this is how you would tell others if they don't know how to find host name, or else you can always go to computer, my PC, I guess, and then right click and then properties. Simple. So this is the name of my computer, okay? So that's what you need, and you can search using that name. So that's the second step. Just validate those agents. Now the third step is you installed, and then now you're able to see all the machines in CrowdStrike. Now, the very next step, the third step, what you have to do is create policies, create some rules for those machines that just got entered into CrowdStrike, right? So just create rules for that, and the technical name for the rules are called policies. So the way you would develop policies is go to the fourth icon, okay? You don't have to remember third, fourth, fifth icon. It's just that because I'm familiar, I'm been using CrowdStrike since a year. That's the reason I know. Always try to search, try to have that enthusiasm to explore the platform by yourself. You know, explore, hey, what is that? What is it? That curiosity will lead you to learn more. So the way you can create policies is, of course, the fourth icon and then prevention policies. That's where you will make the rules. That's where you will make the policy that you want to achieve. For example, what agents have to block, how aggressive, whatnot, and a lot of things. So yesterday we went through policies, right? And if you have a fresh instance of CrowdStrike, I mean, you just bought it yesterday, the only policy you would see is the default ones. Look, the default. All these are custom made by me. You will only see default, and you will, I guess, you will have everything enabled by default. So this is the policy that we discussed yesterday, and I just gave you enough information around the policies. You don't have to know each and everything. I too, trust me, I don't know each and everything. Okay. One interesting thing is they also have a listing called ransomware, where they stop this type of ransomware, Locky ransomware, file encryptions. Now, one of the action that ransomware does is, first of all, as soon as it attacks the system. Okay, so before even that, I told you about ransomware, right? If ransomware hits your computer, it will encrypt all your files. So what I mean by that is, for example, if I have these files, okay, now I'm able to see these files. Let me take a poster. Oh, okay, so let's see this. Now, when I double click, this is the poster I can see right away, right? If ransomware hits your system, it successfully encrypts all your files. You won't be able to see this file. It's just that when you open, it will have some garbage because all these files are encrypted now by ransomware. And the only way to overcome, to bypass, or to get your data back is if you have a backup, if you make regular backups of your own system. What you can do is you can just reboot or reformat your system and then load the backup back on your laptop if you do some backups. That's the only way, that's the only solution to tackle around ransomware. So now you know what's ransomware and what's the remediation step, right? How you can get what you have to do in case of ransomware. If you have a backup, you have to format a system and then load that backup and you're all set. You're back to daily routine, right? You didn't lose nothing because you had everything backed up. What new ransomwares are doing is, first of all, as soon as it hits the system, hits the laptop, they're first targeting to delete backup files because they know that this is a workaround that everyone can use. So the hackers, what they did is they have implemented a strategy where as soon as ransomware hits your system, it will hunt for the backup files and they'll delete it. And you see this option right away. CrowdStrike, what they do is once you enable it, it will prevent any action, any software that is trying to delete your backups. That's the reason I explained everything, what's ransomware, because this particular feature stops that action, deleting of backups. That's one of the things that they have released. So that now we know ransomware tries to delete the backup. CrowdStrike came up with a feature where if we enable it, it will stop any software deleting your backup. Okay? So yeah, that was one of the listing of policy, and then rest we went through yesterday. You don't trust me, you don't have to know everything. Just go with the not with best practices, just always call CrowdStrike and say, hey, can you just double check with the policy that I have? Is it strong enough? Is it bad? Is it good? Okay. So that's the third step. You have to set some rules for those agents. Okay. Create policy. That's just third step. Now, fourth step, create groups. what are groups? So before even that, what I would do is, let's take in this way. Now you have created a policy, okay? But you don't know to whom you have assigned. Now the thing is, the default policies apply to all the hosts that are in your instance, in your CrowdStrike right now. That's the way default works. If you notice, there is no assignment tab on default policy. If you check other policies, for example, let me check Mark-Image, there is an assignment policy. There is an assignment tab where you can actually assign agents or specific host machines that you want to apply that policy on. But the default does not have that tab because default is applied to every machine. Okay? That, remember that point. You will realize later on. Now you have made a policy, right? You have made the rules, but have you implemented, or have you implemented the agents or machines on which the policy should act on? No, right? You just made a policy right now. So now what you would do is you would make some groups, okay? Make some groups, and you would add machines to those groups. Because if you, for example, if you have 5 different policies for 5 different companies, okay? One could be developer, one could be engineers, one could be testers and stuff, okay? You will come across this type of situations once you join the company, because you should always try to keep policy universal standard for everyone, but due to some secrets like developers, you cannot make a high restricted policy for developers, because they do a lot of testing, and CrowdStrike will block everything. Because according to CrowdStrike, the file got altered and someone is playing with it. So CrowdStrike is doing its thing, but you know the fact that they are just our developers trying to develop something, right? So in future down the line, you will face you will come across situations where you have to design a custom policy for specific systems, like for 10-15 systems, right? So for this type of use case, what you would do is you would create groups. That's the fourth step. Once you create the policy, then you would create groups. Okay? Groups are nothing but you're just making a cluster of machines. You're just saying, okay, I will create a group which is called developers, and I will put all the machines, all the developer machines in that group. Simple. So this way you would make your groups, developers or engineers. It depends if anyone asks you to do it. If not, you can just configure enable policy, which will be applied to everyone. Pretty straightforward. You don't have to do anything, but you will get into groups when there is a requirement like, hey, so you applied a default policy for everyone. Now we have developers who have a problem. Okay, in that situation, what you have to do is, of course, create a custom policy first. Okay, create a custom policy. I mean, add a new policy which is low sensitive one apart from default. So let's take SWEB developers. That's one of my company's policy that I made for that developers. Okay, so I didn't enable exploit mitigations, ransomware, not all things. Now I made a policy, a custom policy for them. Okay, and what I would do now is I want to assign only those number of developers machine. Okay, out of maybe 200, only 20 are developers machines. Okay, so what I would do, I would not touch enable. I will just keep it as it is. Now the new policy that I've created, I will just assign those 20 machines to this policy. The way you have to do it is, first you have to create a group. That's the structure of CrowdStrike. Okay, that's the way they have developed CrowdStrike. It's nothing from our side. It's just that you're learning a tool that is based on their structure, how they have designed. So you have to learn, right? So you would make a group. Okay, simple. So let's take this group. No, wait. I might have several developers. Okay, here are the developers. So what I did, I created a group. I did add group. Okay, with those, then what I did, this is what I did. Simple. Went to the add host, and And there are a lot of things that you can pick, but the best option will be pick an OU. So I will pick my OU as SWEP. Look, I will add all these and then click save. Those machines will be added to the group. I don't want to mess with my group, so not doing right now, okay? So I hope you understand the point, right? You would create groups and then you would assign those number of agents to the group. So now you have a group called SWEP developers. Simple, right? Now that you have group, the next step kicks in. Add the group to the respective policy. So far what you did, first of all, you create policy, and then you created group, added those machines to the group, right? And then assign that group to the respective policy. So now I have this group, SWEP version of SWEP developers. What I would do, I will go back to the policy, okay? And then I will open that policy, right? And then assignments, add group to the policy, look, and I will just check that particular group apply. That's it. Now here you go. So this policy is applied to only these number of systems. Now you might have a question. Okay, so I think they are also part of the default group. Yes, they are, but you remember I told you the option precedence. That means host can be part of multiple policies, but they will get a policy applied based on the priority. So if I do precedence, for example, let's take all these SWEP machines are also in default group, and they're also in SWEP developers policy. These hosts are in both the policies. The policy will be in effect, which is on the top. So obviously SWEP is above the default, right? As you can see, the priority number 5, and the default is all the way down. So the higher priority policy will be applied on the host. Okay? Is there any confusions, questions so far? So I'm literally taking you from the basics, showing you the workflow. Any questions so far? Okay. So I will repeat my point. A host, okay, a machine can be part of multiple policies. Okay, so let's take SWEP developers are part of default policy, and now they're also part of this particular policy. But which policy will be implemented on those hosts? The policy which has higher priority, higher number, lower number. I mean, of course, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are based on priority. Priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, 4, 5. So the policy that has a high priority, right? Host will get that policy applied. Simple. And we can rearrange, we can move up and down using this edit precedence. You can see up and down arrow. You can move policies up and down. Look, I have moved test policy from 3 to 4 priority, right? Then again, I've moved down. So this way you can manage your policy prioritization so that so the policy is applied to that respective host. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, great. I hope that's clear. Okay. So now we have. Go ahead.
Just want to ask you, like, so default policies, like, the default option is where has all the policies, yeah, right? Or other way around.
So default. Sorry, what was that again?
Default, like that option default has like the host has all like policies.
All the host.
All the hosts. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
All the host. So default policy, once you apply, once you enable the default policy, it will be applied to all the host. Now, if you want to apply different policy to certain host, you will have to create a new policy and then assign those hosts to that policy. Simple, and make it as high precedence as we did
So
for server developers.
okay, so how do you like how do you choose policies? Like what are the basis of choosing policies? Like for example, as you said, developers has
Low sensitive,
testing roles
low
and
severity.
okay. Uh, how do you
So
select that?
for example, what I would do is I would just make your policy to minimum. That's the best
Oh,
tip I can give you. So for example, cloud antivirus, what I would do is I would right now the prevention is moderate. I would even disable that. I will just keep it as cautious. Simple. Just make your policy to minimum. That's the best way you can have it. So for example, I would downgrade the prevention because this is what will block all the files. Then I
if
will just
what if
hmm
some files have like malware?
hmm
What do you do then?
So usually the best practice is developer's machine should be isolated with the network. Okay? So
Huh?
developer machines are usually test machines. And the recommendation is developers machines should be not connected to our actual network.
Okay. All right.
They have to be an isolated network behind the firewalls where they do all the testing. And moreover, what we do is we will monitor those machines. Once you, I mean, this is the best practice way. So once you assign a low priority policy to some testing machines, you would keep an eye on those machines by another project called SIM, Security Incident Event Monitoring. Right, that's one of the projects where we use a tool like Splunk to monitor our environment. If anything, any malicious activity occurs, we will catch it right away. But good question, good point. I hope that's clear, right?
Yes, it's clear, but I have one more question. Like, for
Sure, go
example,
ahead.
if you're using so these CrowdStrike is not on
Mm-hmm.
the same uh, right on the same. It doesn't depend on the network, right? You can
No.
right. Okay, I got
Yep,
it. Now
CrowdStrike
it's
does
clear
not.
because we have test machines. So why do we have to have those on the same network, right? When we have test
Exactly.
machines, right? Yeah, I got it.
So CrowdStrike does not depend on network. So
Yeah.
let me give you an example. Let me use my whiteboard. Can you see Azam's screen now?
Yeah.
Oh, not Cortex.
Court. Okay.
No, not Cortex. What about now?
Yeah.
So this is your network, okay? Company's internal network.
Mm-hmm.
That's internal. Sorry for my handwriting, okay? So that's internal network. Now, what you would do is, if they are developers, okay, they will be, you will just isolate them with the firewall. That's all networking concept, okay? Firewall. And what the usual recommendation is, there will be no traffic going from developers network to the internal network because they directly get in touch with internet. I mean, through firewall, internet. I know I'm really bad in drawing. So they will be in an isolated environment which was not connected to our network. Even though they are connected, that will be through firewall and no incoming traffic. Okay. So this is the usual practice, and they
Got
can
it.
do anything. Now, CrowdStrike, Falcon, CrowdStrike does not require network. It does not depend on network because it is based on agent, and agent will collect information. So agent will collect information and transfer to CS server directly. It does not depend on the internet network. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Good question. Any other questions, folks? Now I'm back to my screen. I hope it's clear, right? I'm getting a little nervous because no one is asking questions. Okay, sure. So the next, so till now, what we did is we create policy, then we created groups, added those hosts to the groups, and then assigned those groups to the respective policy, and you're done. All you have to do is just enable. I mean, once you create a new group, there will be an option called enable. Once you do it, the policy will be enabled, and it will take, I guess it will take 40 minutes to enable everything. Yep, that's the usual time. So that was the whole process, starting from installation all the way down to assigning a policy and setting some rules. That's what your job will be initially when you start CrowdStrike. Okay, right away. These are the steps that you would follow. Now, another part of it is version. Okay, as I mentioned yesterday, CrowdStrike releases every month. It releases a new version. Look, you see a lot of different versions. So let me go into one of the prevention policy. Look, these are all the versions of CrowdStrike: 7.1, 7.2, blah blah blah. Every month, CrowdStrike releases a new version in lining with Microsoft release, in lining with Microsoft Patch Tuesday. I told you, I explained the concept yesterday, right? Microsoft releases patches and fixes every month, and in order to fix bugs of your operating system, if there is any loophole, to close it. Okay. What CrowdStrike will do is, because it runs on kernel level, based on which is obviously a Microsoft operating system, to in line with, to be compatible, CrowdStrike, as soon as the patch is released, CrowdStrike make it changes on the agent and then releases a version. Okay, it's just a simple thing. Think away that you would apply a software update to your phone. Simple as that. Okay. Now this is the second phase. I mean, this is the complete first phase. The second phase is what you would do is apply versions. There are many groups. Do not concentrate on that. Similarly, as we had default policy, we have a default version policy. Okay, and it is applied to all the hosts. The only thing you have to do with the sensor update policy is just go to that enable, okay, and assign the latest version and save it. That's it. This is how you update version all the agents, all the machines. You just go under, so we saw prevention policies. Right below it, there's a sensor update policy, okay? Ignore all these policies, okay?
One quick comment. How it is upgrade on a host? I mean, it will install it again automatically?
No. So all you have to do is just come here and select the version, and as soon as you save it, CrowdStrike server will automatically install update on the agent. You don't have to do anything. It's just go here, what version you want all the agents to get update on, select it and save it. Done. You don't have to go and you don't have to go again to the deployment team and say, hey, again push the package or again install this version. Nope. So it's like you have your phone, you have your update. All you have to do is just go and install, and it will be installed. You're not installing operating system again on the phone, right? You're just updating the software by clicking that option install. Similarly, all the agents that you have installed so far, for example, in my case, there are 20,000 something agents, right? Wait, let me go here instead of there. There's a quick dashboard view I can have. So this one. Oh no, here. Sorry, my bad. So I have these in my situation. I have almost 17,445 sensors. Okay, that means machines. Sensors are nothing, but we have installed sensors on 17,445 machines. In this situation, if I want to update the version of it, okay, version of CrowdStrike, what I would do is I will simply go under sensor update policy. Prevention policy is different, sensor update policy is different. You would go under sensor update policy and then go to default. Remember I told you default will be applied to all the machines. Look, these are pending, but it will apply to all the machines. So you just have to go, select the latest version and save it. The reason I haven't did it, I will explain later on. I don't want to confuse you, okay? Just remember, anytime you want to update agent, just go here, click it, save it, your job is done. CrowdStrike now, as soon as you do it, CrowdStrike will communicate with the agents, okay? And then it will tell, hey agents, start getting updated. That's the technology, that's the way they have developed the agents. They are self-paced. You just have to select the agent version from here, and then CrowdStrike server will guide all the agents. I mean, basically server is the parent and all the agents are children. So the parent will tell children, hey, start updating the version, we got signal. And they will automatically start getting updated because you're connected to internet. And the way they have configured is they will connect to the CrowdStrike server and get download all the new updates. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now imagine you update this group with the latest version. Okay, now for example, you have 20,000 systems, similar situation with mine.
Quick comments. How
Sure,
frequently these updates are coming?
Every month.
And what about a new signature, new virus detection? How the agent know about it? For zero day attack.
Exploit. It's all configured on the agent level. CrowdStrike will handle that. Because remember I told you laptops should have internet. Okay, so agents should have internet connection. I mean, of course, when the laptop has internet connection, agent will be able to access it. They will be always connected to CrowdStrike server where CrowdStrike people updates their database of all signatures.
But it is daily basis signature. I mean, there's a two different things. One is a version update, and one about the signature definition. Signature definition is, database is updated almost
right.
12 hours.
Yeah, that's the CrowdStrike research team will do it.
Okay.
That's what they have to provide the value.
Is do automatically sync up?
Absolutely, automatically. You don't have to do anything. It will automatically.
And this update is a different thing.
What was that?
This update, like this is a different thing than the signature update, signature database update.
Yeah. No, this is the version update only. This is not signature. This is nothing at all. This is just an update of the agent. Like you update your mobile phone, this is the same thing. Signature update and stuff, they will automatically be done by CrowdStrike itself because they have self capability. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
This agent version is released in order to inline and be compatible with Microsoft release updates. So if you have Windows, right, at times when you go to try to shut down your system, it will tell update and shut down. What is that? Basically, the reason is Microsoft released a new patch or update, and that's the reason, your Windows is asking to automatically get updated. It's just another version released. Simple as that. Okay. So now imagine you go to default and then there is a new update that came in. The way I get to know is I'm subscribed to CrowdStrike email notifications. Okay. Every time there is a new version released, I will get an email from CrowdStrike. I'll show you how it looks like. Okay. Okay. This is called CrowdStrike. So I've signed up with CrowdStrike, and every time there is any change, any problem, anything, they will update me. Okay. So for example, CrowdStrike release note, Falcon sensor for Linux 4.11. 4.11.5607. Look, this I got an update on 8/16/2018 that this version got released 5607. Now the next week I got a another email saying 5609 released. So they frequently send new updates because every update has some new things. Look, for example, they will also tell you with this agent what they have updated. So you will get fixes. You will get a detailed information with CrowdStrike whenever they have an update. For example, Windows Sensor, they have this agent released, and VPN issue with Falcon Sensor was fixed. Look, this is how you will get notification from CrowdStrike whenever there is a new version released. If not, you can always go under sensor, the sensor update policy, then come here and then you can double check. These are the latest. If there is, for example, you remember last time you just saw 7310. Now after 1 week you came and you want to check, you see a new version 740. That means they have released a new version that has some fix. So every version has a reason. Okay, so for example, this version 7304, it says fix improved performance related to Fuse and similar file systems. Improved performance. They will give you reasoning as well what the sensor new versions are and what they have improved. Okay, because this is always an improvement. There is a chance of improvement. No tool is perfect. Okay, and pretty much all the tools will do it. Not only CrowdStrike, Qualys, Forescout, AlgoSec, I mean, there are a lot of different tools, and if they are agent-based or tool-based, they will always send updates. Similarly to a phone, the best example I can give you is phones. They often release version updates. The reason is they try to fix something that they just discovered. Simple. So coming back to CrowdStrike, simple. So now imagine you update the version to all the sensors. Now, out of your 20,000 servers, let me tell you one thing. Not all versions that they released are compatible. Okay, I think I have a message. My bad. I didn't check my chat, so let me do it right now. Okay, so Rosina has a question. Why is default in last precedence? So that's a good question, but that's the very first policy CrowdStrike will have by default in your console. Okay, and default means it will be applied to everything. Everything doesn't really matter. The priority doesn't matter to default policy or default sensor update policy. Okay, and that's how they have developed. It does not affect if it's in last or first, because as soon as you do apply something to default, it will be applied to every machine. Now, if you want to, as I already mentioned, if you want to have a custom policy, you will have to create another group and assign those set of agents to the group, and then assign that group to the new policy, and then make the precedence, the priority as high from default. This way, agents, because they know they are assigned to high priority, will get that policy instead of default. Okay, and I mean that's the way they have designed CrowdStrike. Okay, and Elias has a question: how frequent does this update come? Yeah, every month. Every month, it could be 3 weeks or 4 weeks, depends. Okay. So, okay. So we were discussing around sensor update versions. Now imagine you update. Okay. Oops. So yep. So imagine you update the version to all this 17,000 almost host. Now, for example, not all the versions that CrowdStrike release are always stable. For example, I remember one of the situations like 1 year ago when I updated this version to all my machines right away. One of my company, they were running some software, okay? And as soon as they update the version, the new improvements that were made by CrowdStrike, for some reason that was not compatible with one of the software that my company was running. My company was Destico, one of my sub company. Okay, I mean my company sub company. And as soon as I update the agent for that company, they had a conflict between softwares, and all the systems were showing blue screen of death. I mean, as soon as any employee opens a laptop, they were just seeing the blue screen, done. So this is possible. no software is perfect, so this is possible when you update the version, right? Now think a way how you can avoid it. You're taking a risk of updating version to almost 17,000 hosts, and chances of breaking is really high, right? So imagine after 17,000, at least if even 5,000 came back and 5,000 agents got broke. So imagine what will be a condition. You'll be running, you'll be chasing, you'll be trying to solve problems, getting calls. That's what exactly happened with Despico. I was just giving an example, Bruce, on that. The production was down, all the servers were down because of this one update, and they had some financial big loss because I guess the production was down for 4 hours, and they end up paying some $250,000 something. Yeah. So this is possible because it's technology. Okay, nothing is perfect. Now think a way how you can tackle that situation. Right? You don't want to update all the hosts at the same time.
Roll back to previous version, maybe.
Yes. That I mean, of course, in order to remediate the problem, in order to come over that problem, you will roll back to previous version. That's a good solution. But moving forward, so imagine you solved that problem. Okay, you downgraded the version, you solved the problem. Now you cannot just stop at that version because I told you every month CrowdStrike releases new version and you have to update those no matter what. So for future updates, what do you think is a good plan? Right? You don't want to, for example, there is a new version released, right? You don't want to apply that version all at the same time to 20,000 endpoints. So what's the best approach according to you that you can think of that will save your time, and that's kind of that will help you in deployment.
So what we can do is we can like test the CrowdStrike before updating to the whole
Perfect.
bunch of things, hosts.
Okay.
Hosts. So that's how we can avoid the situation. For example, CrowdStrike gives you the release today, and then like you can check those releases by putting on certain hosts, like updating the version on certain number of hosts, and like for example, if it's working fine, then you can like update the whole host.
Exactly. That's what we have done. So all these other versions that you're seeing, that's what I did. So for example, forget about all this. Just concentrate on what I'm showing you. Okay, what I'm pointing my mouse on. Just concentrate on that policy. So very first thing what I did. Now you have two categories, right? And laptops and servers. Okay. CrowdStrike does not support firewalls, or you cannot install on firewalls and stuff unless and until you have some Linux proper. Anyways, my shop is Windows. I mean, my company has all Windows. So what I did, I divided into waves. Okay, first wave, second wave, and third wave. So wait, let me show this way. Okay, I hope you can see my screen, right? I hope you can see my screen, right? Okay, so we implement a strategy in doing waves. Okay, wave 1, wave 2, then wave 3. To Jamal's point, right? First, you have to, whenever there is a new version released, right? Oh, I think I got some comments on the chat as well. Sorry. Okay. Implement testbed on testbed. Yeah, yes, yep, right. Sorry, I didn't focus on that chat. Okay. So you were doing waves. So first wave, what the way I've done is the first wave clients. Clients means laptops. Okay. So I did reach out to. So I'm giving a real situation scenario. I reached out to a few of my companies and asked them, can you please provide me at least 10 laptops from your environment on which I can test the new version? And they told me, yes, sure. So this way I was able to collect almost 1,000 I mean, the population of my agents are 20,000. So out of those, I got 1,000 laptops on which I can update version. If even they break, they don't mind. So that's the first wave. Okay. The second wave was a server. Okay. Again, I reach out to the folks and ask them, can you please provide me low sensitive servers, at least 5 servers per operating company and per sub company. And eventually, I guess I got around 200 servers on which I can first release the agent, a version. And if anything goes wrong, these are just low sensitive servers. They don't care about it. Now, out of my 18,000 population, I have 1,200 as my testing agents, right? Right. Now the remaining will be around 16,800 agents. Those are my wave 3. Am I clear? Is there any confusion? So I did first push the version to my 1,000 clients that I know if anything goes wrong, they don't mind. I watched it for 1 week. I just kept it for 1 week. Enabled the version, kept it for a week, and was waiting if anyone complains. No one complained. Now the second week, I would update the servers and then wait for another week. Or you know what? You can actually update these two groups on the same group and on the same week. And I mean, you can update these two waves at the same time and wait for a week, because these two are same testing machines, right? If anything goes wrong, no one cares. Once you make sure after a week or one and a half week, no one makes a noise, update the version to rest of the group. Done. That's the strategy I have implemented, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you right now in the tool. So you see this client wave client 1, wave server 1, and then default is my wave 3. Okay. I told you, do not concentrate on rest of the groups. I just created those on based on situations. Just concentrate on what I'm showing you. Okay. So wave 1 is the client. I just showed you why. Wave server 2 is my wave 2. Wave 3 is my default because the rest of the machines are in this group. Right. So these 3 are initially I had those, and the rest what you're seeing, that depends on some situations. Don't worry about it. You don't have to know that. Okay. So I hope it's clear how you would first deploy the agent. I mean, version, update the agent, update the version. That's it. You just go and hit save, done. And but you don't want to, if you don't want to update all the agents at once, you can follow this approach, which will help you to first test it and stop a big mess from happening. That's it. These are the things that you have to do in CrowdStrike. Once you do it, trust me, you just have to sit and watch. CrowdStrike will do all the things by itself. Detections, host management, dashboard that gives you a good view around how many agents are installed and etc. And then intelligence actors, that's my information. Users, I told you, if you want to add users, you can use this. And then the last tab, the last icon is all support, documents, tool download, support portal. Yep. And that's it, I believe. Yeah. Any questions so far? I think today it's kind of smooth since yesterday, because yesterday I know many people were confused, but I hope today the way I explained you, I hope that makes more sense, right? Because yesterday I was not sure. I thought it's pretty easy to grasp, but I realized later on that it is actually confusing a lot. So that's the reason I created a process, what you have to follow, and then based on that, again, showing the tool in comparison with the process. Any questions so far? Nope. Okay, that's good. I think Jamal is only the person who's active. Really? What about others? I I see no. I see no message from Ahmed Ali saying no, no, no. Oh, do we have Ahmed Ali today? My bad, I didn't notice. Yeah, he's there. Okay, so I hope that's pretty clear, right? Now we can go and see some detections. I guess I gave you a brief around detections and the way you can investigate, right? Simple. I told your role shouldn't ask you to do this because you're monitoring, and maybe it might require some investigation knowledge, but you're not going to do any forensics or any deep analysis. The best you can do is, of course, if you want to check if the file is malicious or not, just go and check the virus total, where you will. I mean, most of the people uses this if they don't want to use forensic tools and do deep analysis. They use these type of tools to gather the words and say, okay, malware or not and stuff. At the same time, you can hunt down or search around the hash or the file name. This is Internet Explorer, okay? Attacks can be initiated using your existing tools as well, existing software like Internet Explorer and stuff. So what about this one? Let's see how we will investigate. So WinLog, User Explorer, iExplorer, a process using forced data execution prevention tried to execute non-executable memory. Yeah, so using Internet Explorer, something was trying to download, which eventually wanted to get into your memory, try to read your memory bits. I mean, if you understand operating system, everything is all about bits that is saved in memory, right? So attackers, the way they usually develop the virus and stuff, they will manipulate with your memories, try to read it, and then try to shift some bits. It's all operating system knowledge. Don't worry about it. Okay. The best thing you can do is, first of all, check on virus total. If not, you can always investigate hash. All the icons are right there. All the icons are right there. Look, once you click it, let me go back again and show you. Once you click it, and you'll find the hash and all the path from where it generated, and always and right beside the hash prevention policy, there are a few icons that you can use. You can also check that hash on Google, whether it's reported or not. There are many websites that you can check the hashes and check the executable. For example, my website is saying this particular hash is malicious. 680, 8ABC. Okay, what is this? Website file name, MD5 hash. That's gonna be at 49. Maybe not this website. There are a lot of websites. I guess one of the famous is Malwarebytes. No, that's a software. I think I have few links. These are, I mean, this tab, what I'm showing you. I mean, FDN was fraud detection notification. That was the group of that was the group name that I initiated, and we were, I guess, two folks who used to do investigation. So these are all the website that I used to use. I mean, these are free websites, online websites that I used to do and check for hashes, check for files, check for malwares and stuff. I never did forensics because that requires a complete different knowledge and skill set along with the tools and analysis. I mean, your job role will not ask you to do it. Out of your interest or your free time, you can do it. There are a few tools like NKs and other tools using which you can actually import that particular executable file, try to open it up, try to reverse engineer, try to understand the code. I mean, there's no limit, right? It will completely depends on your interest, what you want to do. But do not think much. Just focus on what I'm showing you. Down the line, once you are into security, you will eventually get to know fields by yourself. Then down the line, you can decide maybe, I want to do more than this, or I want to jump in this area, you can do it. But as a start, this is perfect. Okay. So these are all the websites that I used to use. Maybe I will show you a few when we do our email investigations and a few other things. Okay. As of now, there are many. There are other malware. You can also, for example, this one is checking the URL. So once you enter the website URL, website link, and scan it, it will tell you whether that website is malicious or not. Yes, there are a few websites we can do it, but to some minimum limit, not extreme. Okay. So they're using some online tools. You can check. You can do some investigations. You can try to understand what's going on. It's all about research. Okay, no one knows by default, or no one has the knowledge around all the viruses, all type of viruses. It's all about when it hits, you will start learning. Okay, what is this type of virus? What is hash, or what this type of file can do? Okay, any questions so far? I hope everyone can hear me, right? Jamal is like, no. Okay, you cannot hear me, seriously?
I'm able to hear you, but I don't have any questions.
Okay, yeah, I was just messing around, I know.
Yeah. So what if, like, for example, if it detect, like, for example, you're able to show us, like, uh, these are blocked, and
Hmm.
but in your, like, when you see in command line, you can see the
Hmm.
actual destination of the file, which is, like,
Right, where
right.
it came
So it
from.
can be like, what if, like, we delete it?
Yeah, that's the very first step people usually do. I mean, not, the investigators, the security
Mm-hmm.
operations team. That's the very first step they will do. First of all, they will check whether that file exists from on that path. If it exists, it will delete right away. First of all, they will download and download to the sandbox. I mean, usually, it's like if you're in investigation area, what you will do is you will spin up some test environment, like some test servers or test machines, test operating systems, where you would first download that file and then delete it from the host, from that particular machine that which is infecting, and then once you run that file on your sandbox, your test machine is usually called as sandbox. Okay, where you will run those files, and using forensics tools, what you will do is you will observe the behavior. There are tools in the market like Ncase is very famous. Ncase. Using those tools, you can monitor the behavior of that file, what is affecting the system, what type of changes it's making to the system, memory, file, addition of files, deletion of backups, all these things. But that's more like investigation. That's the reason I'm not touching that part, because that's a completely different role. Analysis role is more like you handle the product, okay, you make all the policies, you make the things are right, and you should have some knowledge around what's going on, like some sort of industry. If needed, you have to do some investigation at times, but not that deep analysis what I just described using tools like Ncase and stuff. But minimum, at least you should tell whether this is really malicious or not by looking up some hashes or file names or some things. When you start using it, trust me, you will do it.
And what are the disadvantages of using CrowdStrike?
What a what?
What are the advantages of using CrowdStrike? Like, for example, some company is a startup and they're like new security team, and what if you want, like, first hire, and they ask you for your suggestion, like, which software,
Mhm.
like, prevention and detection software
Mhm.
should we go for? So, like, just like CrowdStrike or Symantec or something like that, like, they ask you for advantages and disadvantages.
Mhm.
So, like, machine learning is advantage, and it doesn't take that much memory in RAM, and like
Mhm.
CrowdStrike doesn't take that much memory in hard
Mhm.
and RAM, and it's like it goes to the background. So these are the advantages. What are the disadvantages of using CrowdStrike?
So one of the disadvantage, good question. So one of the one of the disadvantage what I can think top of my head is the version updates. Trust me, that's a pain in your back. Yeah. because the way as soon as they release it, you have to make sure that you update on all the agents. I mean, you just have to update, but you cannot just update right away. As I already explained, if you update that version to all the machines right away, there are high chances of breaking those machines. So you'll have to work with the waves, and then if there is any problem, then your 1 week will get delayed to like 4 or 5 weeks. This way, you will miss out the version updates. That's a very frustrating thing that I found about CrowdStrike. Other things, not really. That's the only complaint I have as of now with CrowdStrike. Now, from technology standpoint, from detection standpoint, CrowdStrike also detects and prevents false positive situations, but that's pretty common in all the tools. No tool is perfect. No technology is perfect. Trust me. So the second thing I would say, detection of false positive, where it detects considering malware, but that turns out to be something really. That turns out to be not really malicious. So that's the second part. But so since few months they have improved a lot, and they have made some changes to CrowdStrike agents so that now it's not really detecting a lot of false positives. Yep. So these are the two things that came top of my head right away. Apart from that, I don't think so. There are any major disadvantages.
Good, thanks. I guess
Yep,
Alia
no worries.
has a few questions in the chat box.
Yeah, sure. So Aliasgar has a question. What happens if you not update? So what happens if you don't update your version? Think about it. Yeah, signature. So here's the question: what happens if you don't update? Signatures already updated automatically. So signatures are different. Okay, they will. So that's the detection piece. Okay, that's like detection and prevention piece. Signatures. Now, just imagine, take your phone, okay, and just imagine if you don't update. What phone you use, iOS or Android? Just curious, Aliasgar. Android. So, do you know the latest build of Android? Now, imagine if you don't update your phone since 2 years, right? What happens? You will not get the latest interface, the latest look. You will not get all the fixes that they have done within that 1 year, because software is something which will be developed or which will be improved every time. There is no like, okay, we have developed, we are done. Nope. Every software is improved over time. So you get the new update, and the reason you get a new update is there are some fixes. The look or some hidden processes that are not running good, bad, for these type of stuff. So similarly, this is the thing. Update is not security risk. Kind of a risk, but it depends. I have few agents which are still running on old versions due to some compatible issues, but they're protected. So these version updates are strongly based upon, for example, let me show you an example. Okay. I remember this example. Okay. So you see this one of the things that I didn't show you about CrowdStrike, actually, my bad. So you see the network contain. Initially, when I started using CrowdStrike 1.5 years ago.
One quick thing, there's every 4 or 5 days there is a new version. If you install the last version, it will take care of the previous one. There's a 5 version is coming, and you install that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yes.
No need to install every, just like a window.
Exactly. You don't have to install all the versions. Like good thought. So you don't have to install all the versions. So right now, if you can see my screen, right, I guess behind 5 versions. Right now, I'm showing you live data. Okay, what is going on? So right now I'm on 96905. The latest one is 704. So I'm behind these versions. I don't have to update all the versions. I will just click the latest version and do update done. Yep. And so coming back to your question, the update thing. So I remember 1.5 years ago when I started using CrowdStrike, network content was not an option. So they released a version, and I guess the version was around 5. Right now the version is some 7 something, right? I just showed you 7.740. This network content feature came after 5.122, and what they told me is, I mean, the notification was, if the versions which are higher than 5.122 will have this network content activated. This is per host. Look, if I click the host, this is per host. This is not universal. So if this host, this machine is updated to above 5.122 version, then that machine will have this network content feature. And if not, if this particular machine is still at 5.122, there's some old version which is like 6 months old, this network content does not exist, right? So that's the difference of version. With the new version, they release some new features and some fixes. Maybe they might also update the signature, but to my understanding, no matter what version, they have to update the signatures and everything and apply to all the versions, right? So future versions are more like improvements on the tool. But in the back end for the signature and stuff, they should and they will already they will update signatures real time. So speaking about that, I'm glad that Elias got that point. I forgot to show one of the good feature, network contain. So imagine you are the admin of CrowdStrike. You're the sole person who's handling CrowdStrike, right? So in some situation, so for example, oh, I'm choking. Wait. Okay. So so there's a situation called consider a situation. For example, this machine, which is L5C something. Suddenly, you get a call from your investigation team who's monitoring your environment. I told you there's another project called SIEM, SIEM, which is Security Incident and Event Monitoring. This is one of the projects where the goal is to monitor all our network 24/7. So the logic is we will use a platform called Splunk where we'll forward all the logs of the servers and the endpoints and stuff, and there will be a team who will be monitoring using that platform, running some queries and searches. They'll be monitoring traffic. So these people will get notified if any ransomware or anything hits your environment. Give me 1 minute. Yep, sorry, I was actually choking. So consider a situation, okay? Now, what they will do is the very first step. So let me ask a question to the group. What happens? What's the very first step you would do if you know if one of your server got hit by ransomware or any major virus? Think about it. What you would do? Logically, just think logically. If the server gets attacked by a virus, some sort of malware or ransomware that is trying to spread, right? What you would do? What's the very first step you would do in order to protect your environment? And this could be your definite interview question as well. Take your time. I'll give 1 or 2 minutes because this is really important, and I want to see who answers this logical question. Think. So you in your home, okay? You have a computer, and suddenly you realize that something is going wrong with your computer, and your screen gets black, something pops up, and everything. What you would do? What's the very first thing you would do? So I guess you have a request. Repeat the question. I think I just did. Again, I will do it. Where's the very first step will take if you know one of your laptop or server got a virus or malware? So real-time situation. You're sitting right now. You have your laptop in front of you. Suddenly, your laptop goes black. Something pops up. Some virus alerts pops up. Nothing is controllable. Everything is just messed up, and you suddenly have a black screen. And Perfect. Disconnect from network to avoid spread. Exactly. That's what we have to do, right? The very first thing is you have 5 laptops in the same network. One of your network got affected. You don't want others to get affected, right? So very first thing you would do is just disconnect that laptop from the network. This network contain is exactly what it is. CrowdStrike gives you capability where if you know this system got a virus, okay, or some ransomware, first of all, CrowdStrike will detect it for sure short. Okay, it will prevent it. Every time that the virus tries to attack that machine, it will prevent it. But in order to completely be on safer side, what you would do, disconnect this machine from your network. Now, CrowdStrike gives a capability called network contain. As soon as you click contain and confirm it, CrowdStrike will cut down all the network connections of this host, okay, and it will just isolate it from all your network. So the machine just communicates with CrowdStrike server. It does not communicate with all your neighboring machines in your network. That's a very good feature, or I would say best feature CrowdStrike have released for real-time mitigation to take action in no time. So all you have to do is just network contain confirm, and this machine will no longer can spread anything to the neighboring machine because CrowdStrike will cut down all the connections, all the network connections, and this machine will then only communicate with CrowdStrike server. That's it. This is all done behind the scenes. So it is connected to CrowdStrike server, yes. So CrowdStrike server, they have implemented it such a security that the virus cannot be transferred to the CrowdStrike server. They have designed it such a way because they have to prove their value, right, in the market. So they have designed it such a way it will still be connected to CrowdStrike server, and I believe the server would be some sandbox. So they don't care about it, or they have implemented some logic. I'm not really sure what exactly they implement. The very first question I also had was, okay, so the virus hits the server. Now I understand that CrowdStrike cuts down all the network, but still communicating with CrowdStrike server. What if the CrowdStrike server gets affected? Nope. They have implemented some logic, I guess. I don't know. I never got a chance to get into that detail and ask them what exactly do you do, because these are all behind the scenes. We don't care about it. If even CrowdStrike server gets affected, we don't care about it. It's their server, right? It's not our network. So maybe that's the reason I never bothered to ask them, like, get into roots and grease, like what exactly is the implementation. But yep, that's what the network contain is, and anything happens in our network, the very first step I do, or one of my team who also has admin access, we go into CrowdStrike and we just network contain the device so that it does not spread to any other neighboring devices. I hope that helps. Any questions? It's really interesting, right? The way they control.
Can we do it automatically, or because 20,000 means node, how you can know or monitor 24/7 22,000 nodes? Can we set?
So the monitoring piece is not done by us. I told you there's another set. There's completely a different project called SIEM, and the platforms like Splunk that gives you capability to run some search and give you a report showing you, okay, these are all the detections in your environment. So eventually they will investigate and come to you for this type of remediations. So maybe your question is
too late. Too late. I mean, right away. I mean, if something happen, virus is spreading. I mean, so I mean, even the 30-minute delay, it will already spread the different.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But here's the thing: CrowdStrike will prevent it. I mean, the reason CrowdStrike, what it will do is it will prevent n number of times, any time that the virus tries to again install by itself or try to execute. Maybe 1,000 times, and 1,000 times CrowdStrike will block it. But in order to make sure, in order to stop that activity, you have to network contain. CrowdStrike is always there to protect you, right? That's the level of confidence I have on CrowdStrike. It will definitely stop this type of virus and stuff, but it will not take actions like network content by itself, right? It will stop. For example, so some sort of virus and malwares, where the hackers, what the way they do is they set a timer on the virus, okay? So the virus gets blocked, it will stop. Again, from every 5 minutes, it will run again and again, again and again, right? These are the pretty common behavior of viruses and malwares. They have some time scheduler installed in their code, and then they run every 5-10 minutes. Every time they try to run, CrowdStrike will block it, maybe 100 times, 500 times. You have to stop that activity. You have to stop that again and again, hitting that machine, right? In order to stop, you will just network contain the device, and it will be done. I hope that makes sense, right? Was that answer your question, or?
Excuse me, I do have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Rizwan.
So it will be for the whole group or like for a particular system?
It will be just for that particular system.
Okay.
So if I click this,
okay,
and if I do network content, it will be just for that system. And trust me, Alias, you this one.
So what you're showing is all the groups or the particular system.
No, these are under detections.
Okay, detection. Okay.
And detections is per host.
Okay. Okay.
Look,
I thought you are in a group.
No. My bad.
Sorry.
If I was not clear. I'm under detections, and you will see these options only when you go on detections. If you go on host management, you will not see it.
Okay, as we get detected, like as we know it got detected, so directly we have to go to the network and content.
Absolutely.
And that's it, done.
Absolutely. So as soon as you see it detected, and then you will go here and then just click network content. You cannot do that under host management.
Oh, that's. I thought you are in a group, so that's the reason. I just want to clear it.
Okay. Yeah. No. Good point. Actually, thank you for bringing that point, because I guess other also got clear. Other folks we're also a little confused. Maybe now it might be pretty clear. You can only do these actions when you're under detection only, and there has to be a detection on the system in order to network content something. Okay. And trust me, not all your servers will get attacked simultaneously with ransomware. Possibly, but you will. So till now, I didn't came across this type of situation where I have to network content around 100 devices. Maybe in that situation, CrowdStrike might not be a feasible option. You directly have to contact the network team and say, these are all the systems that got affected. Shut down the network. They would do it right away. So I will share some information. Last week, one of our sub-operating company got attacked by ransomware. I guess the building, they shut down the network because the machines were around 600. So we couldn't do that with CrowdStrike. What they did is they did shut down all the network itself, and I guess it took 2-3 days to clean that up, and then they are now back online. Literally last week. The problem was the machines didn't have CrowdStrike because of some compliance issues, and that's the reason this attack was successful. Because if CrowdStrike would be there, I'm pretty sure it might have stopped something. Yep. So these type of solutions are really important to to stop viruses, and that's really important. Protections are kind of costly. Any other questions? Okay, so that's great. Now I believe we are comfortable around detections, and then how to check host names and groups, and the prevention policy, sensitive policy. It was funny. Okay, sensitive policy, and then prevention hashes. I hope I did explain to you how you can whitelist and blacklist a hash, and what is hash actually. So if you want to whitelist a hash for a particular machine, first of all, it has to have a detection, okay? And then once you go for that particular machine, once you click it, there will be detailed tab will pop up for that particular machine, and then you can, of course, go here, update the hash, check Windows or Mac, and click always block or never block. Always block is blacklisting, never block is whitelisting. Simple. Then that hash will be blacklisted or whitelisted based on a selection for that particular host. If you want to whitelist or blacklist a hash for everyone, you will go on the fourth icon and then go prevention hashes. and click the cloud, enter the hash here. I don't have a hash copied, so it will not work. I can copy one real quick. Detections. Now, what are the
It's
interest?
sorry, is whitelist all the network or particular host or group?
What was that again?
I mean, you make a hash and put in a whitelist. It is all the network, particular host or group.
All the agents, all the agents that exist in CrowdStrike. For hashes, there is no group. Once you use this prevention hash area and you upload hash here and then eventually blacks the whitelist, it will be done for all the agents that are in CrowdStrike. Network is not in the scope because CrowdStrike does not depend on any network, right? So what exactly do you have in CrowdStrike console? I mean, that's a question to you. So what all things you have in CrowdStrike? You have all the machines, right? So once you apply hash, it will get applied. The hash will be whitelisted or blacklisted on all those machines that are in CrowdStrike. If you use this method that I'm showing you right now, prevention hashes, and if you update a hash from here, let me pick one hash. Pick one hash, okay, and pick a hash from here. Oh, my bad. Okay, so pick a hash from here, and then let's take this example. Okay, so it says valid hash. Apply, always block, never block, no action. So if I say always block, that's blacklisting. If I do never block, that's whitelisting. And this hash will be whitelisted and or blacklisted depending on what you choose on all the hosts that are under host management. Is that clear? Yep, more. Is that clear, Aliasgar? Okay. Yeah, more attacks, more jobs. And trust me, the reason the market is now, right now, the reason cybersecurity jobs are kind of increasing is because of these attacks. If I tell you the analysis compared to last year, I believe this year or last year was, I guess, 200% hike when compared to 2016. So the analysis showed 2006 when you compare 2017 and 18 with 2016, there is almost 200% increase in cybersecurity risk. And these type of roles are really important so that you or the person who handles all these things. I mean, there will be of course security operations, but trust me, you will be running security operations. You will be the head. You will be saying, okay, you do this and you do the analysis and come back to me if you need help. This will be your position. Okay, you'll not be that level one person. You will be the product admins, the owners who runs the program. Okay. So that's the hash part, and there are some of the situations where, for example, developers, right? They will tell us, hey, you know what? I develop a lot of things. Okay, no matter you assign a low sensitive policy for developers, they'll still be blocking. Okay, so usually developers, what they do is they use a specific path. For example, I see logs. I'm a developer. An example, I see I use this path. Okay, from my development, and I keep all my files here. So I will ask, hey, all my files are getting blocked every time. Is there a good way to whitelist a folder or whitelist my machine? So I would say not a machine, but I can whitelist a folder that you use for your development and save the files. So what we can do is we can actually whitelist a file path. So the way you would do is you first go to prevention file exclusions. You add new exclusion. You'll pick up host. You don't want to whitelist this particular file path for all the hosts, right? That will not make sense. You will just pick the machines of the developers that you want to whitelist on. If there is no group, of course you have to create a group, add those number of developers in that group, and then select that group from here. And you see a next, and you put that file path here. File path here, and then you insert this key. This is regex. This is regex. I mean, this is regular expressions. So Just remember this: if you do double star, that means anything that is installed in this particular folder will be whitelisted. So let's test. Okay, let's test. This is the file. Okay, this is a pattern test optional that you can do. You gave the pattern already, right? So here is where you will get pattern already, and here is where you can test it. For example, let's see, type, and I'm running a file like test.exe. So let me do a test. Look, green means okay, this will not be blocked because look here, look at the logic. I have whitelisted this path, okay, and by giving 2 stars, I'm already saying anything that is under this file, just don't block it. In order to prove the test, they give you a right away option, pattern test option, where you can test. So this is the path that will be consistent. And now I'm developing a file like implement.test. Okay, test. Look, whitelisted because it comes under that particular exclusion pattern, and then save it. Simple. Now, look, you selected the group. I mean, the number of hosts, the number of hosts that you want to whitelist. Next, and you give. Oh, I have to check a group. Okay, then you give a pattern, and then if you want to test that pattern, you can test it. It will say red or green. Once you do it, you save it. Now, by doing this, you're whitelisting a file path on those number of agents that for which you have the group. Okay, is that clear? Any questions? Any confusions? I hope
Hi.
that's pretty straightforward. Go ahead.
Can you just explain me it again? The
Okay,
whole
sure.
thing.
Yeah, so you will face some situations like give me one. So so you'll face some situations like, for example, you're handling CrowdStrike in a company, right? And a developer or a company comes and tells you, "Hey, I know you assigned a low sensitive policy for our developers, but still they are getting blocked." Okay, so what's the best solution to not interrupt their work? So what you would ask them, okay, so can you tell me if they use a single path for development, right? If they use a single location for the files for the development. Usually that's the way developers do. They just use one single path like this. So if I'm a developer, for example, I'm using this file. I mean, I'm just giving an example, right? So I'm giving this file path location. I'm using this file path location for all creating and development and saving all the files here. Okay? So in this situation, you will ask them, hey, are your developers using a single path, a location where where they use and develop? I mean, they just use are they using any single path or location to develop the files and save it? If the answer is yes, then you will have to ask the location, the computer location, the path location. Okay, not computer location. My bad. I take my words back. The file path location, the whole folder location. Okay, and then what you would do is you would whitelist that whole path in CrowdStrike so that it does not block anything that is created under that folder. Because now you're whitelisted. Now the way you would whitelist is go under file exclusions, add new exclusion. Okay. Now here's the thing. You don't want to exclude this file path for all the hosts, like 21,621, right? Of course, you want to do only for developers. How you would do it? Think about it. Now you know the concept of groups, right? The way you would do it, you will select group. I mean, check the box of group, and you will select that particular group that you created. So let's take web developers. I already created a group for web developers, right? So I will pick them. Just consider that I got a request from web developers saying, "Hey, can you just whitelist the whole directory, the whole file path, because we use that only to develop." And I was like, "Okay, so sure." So what I would do, I will select those 18 hosts only and click next, and I will give the pattern. Look, I want to whitelist this pattern. So I tell CrowdStrike, hey, listen up. Do not block anything that is executing in this location for those 18 hosts that I just selected, right? And one of the regular expression that you have to do is, if you want everything, if you want nothing to get blocked for that location, you have to enter double star. That's the regular expression. I don't know how many of you are familiar with regular expressions, but star means everything. Okay, in CrowdStrike there are two stars. So what you would do is, once you have entered the path, the complete path, and if you want to whitelist everything that is under locks in this situation, you would do two stars. Okay, you have given the pattern. Now you're curious. Okay, is that right? Is that wrong? Okay, so let's try with one star. Okay, let me try. I'm now curious to check, can I really run anything and it will not block? How is that guaranteed? So CrowdStrike gives you a area where you can test. So let's see. If I'm a developer and I'm trying to develop a file, test.exe, in this location, let me test. Green. Oh, I told you star is something. If I don't give star, let's test. Look. So I've just given a static path, and it will just whitelist these three things. If I add additional executable, and if I try to test log, it says check it as it does not match this pattern, right? Now I want to whitelist everything that is under locks. I don't want anything to get blocked, so I will just give one star. That means everything, okay, in regular expressions. Now I have this situation. Our developer develops a test.exe under this location, and I'm really curious to know if my logic, if my pattern that I gave is working or not. So what I would do, I would give an example, sample, and do test. Green, that means it will not block if anyone is trying to, if that developers are trying to create anything under locks. And then you save it, done. That file path is now excluded for those 18 hosts. Is that clear, Rizwan? Or is it still confusing?
Yep. No, I got it. Thanks.
Okay, simple. It's just excluding the file path
Okay.
that developer is using. Yep. And they have
Thanks.
recently released it. This was not traditional. I guess they did it 3 months ago, I guess, based on the customer's request. So yep, that's how you exclude file paths, and these are the hashes. So pretty much that's all about CrowdStrike. One other thing about CrowdStrike is the search. So this is completely different, okay? Do not get confused with other things. These are all your admin level access, detection, network contained policies, sensor updates, and hashes and stuff. The search is something different. I apologize. I know I am it's around 9:45. Just bear with me like 5-10 minutes, and it will be done, okay? Because yesterday I was not expecting it will go that long. I expected to complete it yesterday itself, but unfortunately it was not. So I have to complete this, okay? To be on schedule. So these are all different. These are all, I hope you understood. The discovery thing, don't worry about it. I too don't know about this. They have recently released it, and as a trial, I have asked them to just activate that for like 30 days. So they did it. So I don't really know about this, but this is also just informational. What all information CrowdStrike is gathering, based on that, these are just only analysis and gives you information. Like for example, what all applications CrowdStrike is seeing on the machines that you have in CrowdStrike right now. All the analysis, that's it. So these are all, what I'll show you are the important links and areas. There are others too, but they're all informational. Don't worry about it. Once you get hands-on, you can explore it. Apart from this, one interesting area is search. Okay, and to your surprise, CrowdStrike is deployed on Splunk. Splunk is a tool where it's a database where it collects all the information, it collects all the logs and data, and you can use that platform to run some searches, some queries. So for example, I will give you a use case. Now that the CrowdStrike is running and tracking all the information of the sensor. But what I mean by that is, let's see. Okay, let me do a search. Host search. Let me do that. Okay. I will show you what all information CrowdStrike actually gathers from a host. Okay. Ooh, why did I do it? So let me type my own host. Okay. and I will show you what all things are captured by CrowdStrike. Okay, so there's a link called host search. What you can do is you can type in the host and do submit, and you can also select the time range. I will select 3 days. Okay, let's see. It will give me all the data that it discovered in last 3 days. Okay, so okay, yeah, so that's the search capabilities. So it gave me the name. It's showing all the IP addresses that I had, that I used in 3 days. Look, same my name, MAC address, of course, the same. The IP address changes because I connect to different networks and I get different IP addresses, correct? So that's the reason it's showing me and on details.
It's like history.
Exactly, it's like history. Yep. Agent, I told you, agent is independent of network, anything. It's just recording all the information that is running on your laptop. Simple. You can take it this way. So these are all the information. If you want to check detailed information, this is where you have to go and select host search, put down your host and submit. It will give you all the information. What process is running, what executables, what applications are running, like process executions, right? Look, host executable, background executable, CMD, because I just ran CMD, look, it's recorded in real time, 8:31. So this is, the time zone is different. That's the reason it's UTC. But I just ran a command and I just ran host name. Well, it's recording in real time. Any action that you do, CrowdStrike records it. Because remember, it's running on kernel level. Every single, like I clicked it, it goes to kernel, then push it further. That's the operating system concept. So I showed you real time example. I just ran CMD, the executable. Look, this executable, and it did pop up as, okay, this was ran. This is a file location that it ran from. This is the hash and stuff. Okay, and admin tool usage, PowerShell activities, were there any PowerShell DNS request? What all domains I accessed? DoorCarp, Auto Discovery, Peer Login, Carp, yeah, Store. These are all the domains, websites that I used, right? And I did it through Outlook. So what it means is, using my email, this is my Outlook, right? If I click on the link from my Outlook, okay, that's showing me. So it's saying me through Outlook, I have accessed this particular domain. So it gives you this type of information. That's the reason I'm telling you, CrowdStrike is really great tool. Also, it gives you network connections. What all websites you have reached. Remember, these are all external IP addresses.
A quick comment.
Sure.
These logs are actually the activities of the agents or host activity?
Host activities. Obviously, host activities, right? Agent is
anything host is doing, like a tracking, going to the which website, or like a thing on the host.
Absolutely. So what all activities the machine, the host is doing, agent is just recording all those activities and showing us.
Okay. So it means any opening any document, any
right,
website is for forensic type of things, like.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Not complete forensics, but some level of forensics where you can investigate at least if the machine have access this or not.
Okay, even you what searching in the Google, that is, or
not Google, but what all websites you're reaching to. So, for example, you type in Google, right? And obviously, you will end up clicking some link, right, to reach to some domain or some URL. So that's also recorded. Look, the domain.
But it is a by default, or you have to set something?
No, it's by default. It's by default. Everything that I showed you, you will do exactly same if you join a company. There is no extra step that you will do. That's the reason I'm showing you in real time. If you get a job tomorrow, if you have CrowdStrike, this is exactly what you will do in the company. No step here and there. If you follow my steps.
No, which option you go from the, can you go to the top?
Search.
Search, okay.
Then
and search, you enter the host name.
Yes, you would select host search. There are multiple links, but you would go to host search, and this page will pop up, and then you will enter the host name and then submit. You can also select the time frame, the days that you want to see the data. So this is showing
So,
the last
but
3 days.
it is also the privacy concern also. I mean, I
Compliance,
think
yes.
I mean, most of the companies sign you can I mean monitor the employer monitor anything activity on your computer, but it is not
Hmm.
true for all the people. I mean,
Right.
so,
No, you're right. Absolutely. And
bring
US,
your devices on that type of thing. The privacy is a different setting. Somebody sue that why you are going. I am bringing my laptop and doing the company work, and you are going to monitor it.
right. Absolutely. I mean, your point is right. So basically, for that, the compliance team will handle it. As an
Okay.
admin, as an analyst, you can tell what all things Crosscheck can do. The compliance team, the security will handle these things, getting approvals and stuff. That's not your headache. But you will be also involved, of course, that into the meetings. Actually, that happened with me. So you brought a good point. So we have few companies in Europe, Sweden, and
Yeah, that
different
is the
areas.
European is a total different culture about
Exactly.
the
So they
privacy.
have a strict compliance. You cannot monitor any host or any user's activities. So CrowdStrike is not installed in our Europe in my company in my company where they have Europe locations. It's not installed. Just for your
Okay.
knowledge.
Okay. Okay.
So they are right now going through Works Council, Europe Works Council. They will review the tool. They will tell you, and they'll approve or deny based on that. There's whole set of there's this that's the completely different world where you will be just brought in as a SME of the tool, what it can do or not, but the compliance team will take care of it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Thank you,
But
man.
yeah, you brought a good point. There is a privacy concern, but U.S. law is not really strict, so it's okay. But Europe and China, these things are
The
really strict.
US is also, I mean, very, especially the big or devices, BODs, and
BOD.
I'm not sure. So somebody
So,
is going to, yep.
right. So bring your own devices and stuff. That's a network level, and because you brought a point, there's you see Forescout. You control these type of BOD violations using this tool. We will discuss when we jump on Forescout. That's also an interesting tool, but that's really a big tool. I'm not going to explain that in detail, but just overview, okay? But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
what your point? Yeah. So this do tracks a lot of things, all the activities that a host a user does, like connections, and then what websites they have reached. Remember, so it will track down the website external IP address, because every time websites they are notified as external IP address, right? It will tell you what all destinations you have reached, and network listening. Trust me, a lot of different things: scripts, executables, processes, scheduled tasks, and what all connections, external connections, what all countries you have connected to. Look, I've connected to Canada, Germany, because probably I don't know where the website is hosted, right? I will click any host, it will track down the location. Okay, so 54 connections from my host were connected to Hong Kong. I mean, I have accessed some 50, there were like 54 external connections to Hong Kong. Probably I was browsing some website which is hosted in Hong Kong, right? So it gives a very good detail, and this is really helpful in investigations. This is by default search. But if you want to do some search by yourself, you have to learn Splunk query language. This is where you would require some basic SQL coding language, SQL query language. So what I just did is I ran a search. Input lookup is one of the syntax. I ran a search on the table where doing that it will give me a list of all the hosts that my Crosscheck has, 21,355. Look, so computer name, its agent information, city that system belongs to, domain that's connected to OU, a lot of things. So this is a complete different area where you can utilize for investigations. So one of the example I will give you is when I was doing investigations. So for phishing emails. So whenever I will give you a real time example, okay? So when I was doing email investigations, there was a problem. So for example, 1,000 users. I mean, I will wrap up after this. Okay, don't worry about it. I know I'm taking a little more time, but this is kind of interesting. I have to complete it. So I came up. There was an exam. There was a situation where a phishing email a fraud phishing email was sent where the email was sent to almost 1,000 users. Okay, and out of those 1,000 users, I wanted to know how many users have actually clicked the link, right? That's the analysis that I want to do. I want to check out of 1,000 users, how many actually clicked the link. So there's no way to check. I mean, there were no, we didn't deploy a lot of tools. I just had CrowdStrike at that time, and there were no proper monitoring of my environment. This is really earliest initial stages when the security team started up. We didn't have SIM, security incident event monitoring. We did have that project. I mean, that project was not running, and we just had CrowdStrike and no other proper tools. So this search is so powerful that using the search, you can actually find how many users have actually clicked the link. That's the power of CrowdStrike. It will go to that level where, look, how you can even imagine. I'm using Outlook, okay? So I just click a link out of this Outlook, any link. So I click this link, okay? Using CrowdStrike, because my CrowdStrike agent is monitoring all the activities. Using CrowdStrike, I can get a list of all the users who have clicked this link if they have got this email. So these type of analysis you can do with CrowdStrike. So this is one of the real-time example I'm giving you. And when I was using CrowdStrike, I gathered, when I started learning this query language and stuff, I gathered a document that I can share with you guys, where you can actually use it for running some queries. Not this one. Don't get scared seeing these queries. It's not, I mean, if you sit down for a while and learn, it will show you. So for example, if I want to check how many systems have connected to this particular domain, okay, for example, and CrowdStrike gives you that information as well. I mean, CrowdStrike, so if you go under documents, okay, here, if you go under docs, there is a hunting guide where you can use it. There's a hunting guide right here in the documents. Remember, this is installation guide. There's a hunting guide here. You can use that guide to, it gives you some queries right away. You just have to figure it out how you can use it and how you have to modify it. Simple. I'm not expecting you to do it. Trust me, this is not analysis, and your role does not ask you to do it. This is all done by an operations team, but because you're the admin, you should at least have this knowledge. Okay? So this particular search query, I mean, when I started using CrowdStrike, I didn't knew it. Eventually, I learned it using these documents, using online. I understood what is AID, customer ID, asset ID. These are like simple syntaxes that I use. I don't know how you are familiar with Java programming or something. I used to do Java programming, so that's how I kind of understand the structure. This is solely SQL queries database. If you're familiar with SQL queries, that's on the same structure build. So for example, this query will tell me how many users have actually connected to this domain. So let's run a search in 30 days, okay? And the star is everything. So the domain name, what I'm giving is starts with everything, but in between there should be this word and then ends with everything. So I've given pretty open search request, and let's see if okay, let's see Google. How many machines have actually reached out to Google in 30 days? So this will do a search on all the hosts that exist in CrowdStrike that currently exist in my CrowdStrike console. Look, these are the computers, and these are the domains that they have reached out to. aboutme.google.com. So this type of search will give me any link that has Google in it. Look at the logic. I have given star, which is like starts with everything. So it starts with anything, but in between it has Google, and ends with everything. Star means everything, right? So ends with everything. So it will give me all the host names that are got connected to these Google, URLs. Isn't it interesting? I know it's kind of, right now you must be thinking, oh my goodness, how much I have to learn or stuff. Trust me. Oh wait, I think I missed a lot of things in chat. Okay, so trust me, CrosstrAck is a really good tool to learn, but don't get panicked, don't get stressed out. You will learn it eventually. I'm not expecting you to learn overnight. It for me also it took like 2-3 months to learn these things and to figure it out. Okay, so I'll answer the question. This is a good option. CrosstrAck is safe from inside hackers. Absolutely, yes. At least track. Eliezer, oh man, oh okay, I understand the reaction. It is everything, yes. So Eliezer has a question. How long it keeps the history? So the history, good question. So the data that you're saying, I guess we bought for 30 days only. So it depends on your subscription. If you want to save data for 60 days, they will give you a price for that time period. I guess we signed up for only 30 days. So if I extend that search for 60 days, I will still see 30 days. How can you back up the old data? Depends. If you really want to do it, you can. Yes. I mean, in fact, you can utilize CrosstrAck yourself and ask them, hey, just save for, do for 60 days. Yeah. But yeah, you can back up the data. It depends on what you want to back up, but it doesn't make more sense. Yeah. Because if there's an activity, probably you will notify in one or 2 days. And 30 days is way more than enough. Yep. Yes. So once the search is complete, the way you can download is right here. There's an option like called download, and you can download an CSV file and XML file, so that you will get that file in an Excel sheet. Test, export. Here is your file, and then you can apply filters and stuff and a lot of things based on your search. But domain name, the computer names, and counts, number of hits that they have reached out to that machine. Similarly, there are a lot of different things that I can use with CrosstrAck. If you learn this query language, this is the Splunk query language. What we are going to discuss down the line, Splunk, look, SIM. In our syllabus, Splunk is a platform. So CrosstrAck is also using Splunk for all that transferring data and then search, because Splunk is really powerful. And this is a Splunk query language. There are websites of Splunk where you can go and try to learn I would say cheat sheet and try to not right now, do not focus right now, trust me, just leave, just listen what I'm telling you, okay? Do not get stressed out, because initially when I also got to know about this, I was like, damn, how would I learn that? That's a pretty obvious reaction everyone will have, but once you get into it, eventually with your experience you will learn it. So these are like the cheat sheet, you online, what are these variables used for and stuff. You don't have to learn everything. It's just that what your job requires, if you just learn that minimum, that's enough. Okay? So that's a complete search thing, and other things are just by default. For example, if you want us to do a user search, let's see that. User search. So you can search using username. Yeah, you can do that as well. So all these are predefined and pre-developed for you. But there's this part is the only thing where this area is the only area where you can do your custom queries, and you can do it. So for example, there are a few other queries as well. Do not get freaked out seeing this many big queries. It's okay. I mean, this is nothing, right? Main things are like few things, and other things are just renaming the files. Okay? Do not get freaked out just seeing these queries. Eventually, when you go into it, you will see it. Okay? Okay, I think I'm all set for CrosstrAck, and I believe I've shared all the information that I know. I mean, there is more, but you don't have to know about it right now. Any questions so far? I'm guessing I'm pretty confident. You might be stressed out right now, but do not worry. Trust me. What all I've taught, that's more than enough for your interview and getting into your company. Once you get it, the only way you will learn is once you get hands-on. So don't worry about it, okay?
So, is any forensic department in every company? Your company has forensic department?
Yes. It's in India, actually, Bangalore. They have some set of tools that they use, and they do some detailed forensics. And at times they come to me and ask some requests around, can you pull this information from CrosstrAck? So I usually do it.
What is the function? If there's some breach, then they investigate or something?
If there's a successful compromise or there's an actual attack, that's the only time they get activated and utilize those skill set to analyze the files.
So otherwise they are idle and there's no function of their department.
No, they will also do some other things. I mean, they don't just sit idle. Trust me, they do a lot of work. For solving one incident, it will take them for months, analyzing logs for like 30 days, mapping, designing. Trust me, I know a guy personally, so who always tells me stories, and I was like, damn boy, that's a lot of investigation.
Okay.
So yeah, this is just a start. CrowdStrike. I mean, down the line for other projects, maybe OpenDNS is nothing. I mean, trust me, that's really fairly simple. AlgoSec is fairly simple. Security training and email investigation, these two are kind of really interesting. Forescout is a very big tool. It might be a little confusing, so I will not go in detail. And Splunk. Then reporting. Yep. Absolutely, Ahmad Ali. There are always daily incidents in the company. True. There's no. I mean, you cannot expect like there's no incident. Even so, one incident will take like many days to solve it. Yes. So I think I will wrap up the session as of stop it, and I guess we are done with CrowdStrike. If you have any more questions, let me know. Meanwhile, I will ask Irani to sign up for CrowdStrike and give you a trial as we did for the Qualys. Any questions before we wrap up the session? I know I literally took 2 hours, but this is really important because in 3 days we are stretching CrowdStrike. I apologize for extending that, but this was really necessary. I hope you enjoyed the session, right? It's like more.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really interesting how CrowdStrike can capture a lot of things, right? So, any questions so far?
Is any training or certification by the vendor of these companies also like a?
Yes.
You can go there. It's not
Absolutely.
A separate tool. I mean, they offer antivirus that you are certified or like this one.
So usually these type of vendors, they do have certifications, and once you do it, you will be CrowdStrike certified. Simple. They will tell, okay, this guy knows CrowdStrike. Simple.
Online, not go to any.
Depends on how they provide. They are both online and in person as well. There's actually a CrowdStrike University that you can sign up for. I mean, once you have that access, there's some. I guess it's free or not. I'm not really sure, but I also got an email to sign up. I didn't have time to do that university because I feel kind of comfortable with CrowdStrike what I know. But always there's a chance of learning, and there's no stopping to learning. Yes.
Okay.
Any questions, everyone, before we wrap the session? Probably everyone might be hungry because trust me, I am done. I'm like I spoke a lot. Okay, last call for the questions. Any confusions, any concerns? Trust me, no question is stupid. Feel free to ask. Even if you want to ask after session, feel free to message me on WhatsApp. It's okay. Any questions?
Just one more thing, like so we are doing the call thing, right? So you have to log in and everything. So it's basically we need to set up. So if you have time tomorrow or like sometime later, can you just go through the setup and like, for example, it's a new thing, right? So basically some companies don't have the actual setup, and first you go and then you set up calls, like, so can you just go through that, like a brief explanation about how to like set up?
So you're talking about Qualys or CrowdStrike?
Yeah, Qualys.
Qualys? Okay, we can do that down the line. But I wouldn't disturb the schedule for that, to be frank. I mean, that will, we'll think about it, trust me. So for that initial setup, okay, we can go through it, but I wouldn't suggest tomorrow. Maybe we will grab one weekend, like 1 hour session with question and answers, right? That would be much useful because I want to stay on schedule.
Yeah. I can totally get that, but it's like this has expiration date, right? Like, it's gonna expire. The trial is gonna expire.
Yeah,
and
7 days.
So you don't have like IP and everything. So like just like
So the good thing of the trial is it has everything by default. So all you have to do is just put down your laptop IP address. run the scan using the options profile. So one of the tasks, actually two things before we end up, okay? Two things. First, because now you have CrosstrAck console, I expect you to practice this weekend and come up with questions for our next session. That's one thing, okay? Glad, Jamal, you brought that point up. I actually almost forgot about it. So two things I want from the group for the coming session, which will be on Tuesday, not Monday, because Monday is a holiday and I won't be in Chicago. I'm planning to travel to another state. So probably Monday there's no class. Tuesday 8 p.m. CST. Tuesday 8 p.m. CST. So remember, Monday is no class. I will put down the group as well. So Tuesday, I expect everyone to practice on Qualys this weekend. At least spend 1 or 2 hours at least. Do it. Come up with questions, okay? Because that's the only way you learn. I cannot force you. I cannot push you. It completely depends on your enthusiasm, how badly you want to learn, how badly you want to get a job, okay? So just be focused on it. This weekend, try to practice it. Take 2 hours, okay, and practice on that Qualys. Come up with questions for our next session, which will be on Tuesday, 8 p.m. CST. Second thing, wait, I think I forgot. There's incident information. Yeah. Oh, I actually announced the second thing as well. First thing was Qualys. Second thing, there's no class on Monday. It will be on Tuesday. Okay. So do practice on Qualys. Once you're done with the Qualys thing, then we'll request for CrosstrAck, because I don't want to request CrosstrAck and put both the tools in your hands. First, get familiar with Qualys, and then we will jump on CrosstrAck. Okay. So yes, Jamal, we will go over that thing. The mock interviews this weekend. Will you be part of the process? Probably not this weekend. I will talk with Rani, because I'm actually traveling to Michigan tomorrow, maybe on Saturday, and I'll be back by Monday. And probably and trust me, I wouldn't be able to take Monday class. For the weekend, maybe for 1 or 2 hours, I don't know. I will talk with Irani. If there is a time window that I can spend for 1 hour, then we will do some mock-up sessions. Okay? Thank you for that, Ahmad Ali. I will get in touch with Rani. Okay? So two things. Remember, practice Qualys and come up with questions for our next session. That's really important. And that's where we will assess how good you're a learner, and you will once you do it, you will come across what all problems you face when you're using Qualys. Okay?